Izzy's already on the loose. How she gets out and those two don't, that's beyond me, but oh well. The big girls were in the aviary because I wasn't feeling well and Faith has been just a little bit anxious lately. I don't know what's going on with her. I think it's just her normal season. It's a little bit rambunctious. And that causes a little bit of issue with the birds. So the big girls put stuff in the aviary. It was the first time they ever did. And I didn't know if they'd like it or not. So then the babies were acting up and didn't want to go to sleep on the, and then I had to kick out Sissy out of his house for them. So I just switched Sissy and the girl. I've been doing that, switching them too. And she's in the dust bath, but she doesn't mind because she likes the dust bath in the morning. So she's going to go right in that nursery area. They're looking for food right now. I have to clean up. I haven't cleaned up anything. Well, I technically cleaned up and put the pt1 on the bed, but other than that, I haven't done it. Hi guys. Nobody's been fed. Nobody's been watered. Nobody's been. This is us getting up, basically. So, hi guys. What you doing? You cannot fly up like that. You cannot fly up like that. You cannot do it. I know you want them. The want is there, the can't is there as well. Can't do it. Can't do it. They all do that. It's kind of like a visual thing. They can see the net, but they don't realize the net is actually stopping them from going where they want to go. The concept is there. So it is actually a surprise to them. They'll get used to it. Obviously, trial and error type situation is like really easy. It sometimes takes a little bit longer. Plus, those are babies. So I'm just kind of like spot checking right now, and I'm just making sure that everything is able to be swept. That's the preferred method. But sometimes, especially with Iz, she can have really blue light. So I'm looking. That's what I'm looking for. That one. That's not it. I don't know what that's all about. That's on it. I don't know. Most of those, all that can be swept. And then there's some paper I need to remove. So they'll poo on the paper, which is fine. If I have to get it out of there. Excuse me? The girls are not done drinking yet. A little bit not even out of the aviary. You need to stop screaming and be a little patient. Izzy is still drinking right now. He's demanding the water. He wants the water tower. He's actually in his house, I think. I don't know. I have. Most of them are out. And they were out all night. Fine. But they wake us up. I don't know what wakes us up at 2 o'clock. That's something new. I don't know what that's all about. I think it's something as far as like a neighbor coming home from work or just triggering that. Because normally we got up at 4 o'clock. And then all of a sudden it's 2 o'clock in the morning that we're getting up. And I'm like, why are we getting up this early? But they won't stop. I try to make sure it's dark and quiet and everything, but it doesn't stop. So I'm just sweeping it back, taking all of the debris from yesterday through all of the ditch birds. Yeah, there's chickens and quails coming, so everybody shares their family environment that we have. Just not at the same time. a lot of activity lately just because a lot of people are trying to grow their own meat and food, which I think is awesome. If that's your if that's how you hang, that's you should be doing it that way. To be honest with you, chickens are so easy to take care of. Don't listen to all the hype on the internet. Stop giving them all the supplements that you don't even know are good for them. In fact, some of them are downright dangerous. Kind of like the rule of thumb is you don't want to give them anything high in fructose, high in sugar that's going to turn into sugar. So anything that's got a starch base is going to turn to sugar in the bloodstream. So the problem with that is that if it's 105 degrees and you give them something like corn, for example, which is very, very high in sugar, then you're going to end up, it's kind of like giving somebody, just like for example you, it's 105 degrees and you go over and go to a restaurant, a Mexican restaurant, for example, and you just eat and stuff yourself to your gills. You're going to be so uncomfortable. Like, you're going to be uncomfortable because you ate it, but now you're uncomfortable because now you ate it and then you're overheating because you literally you just fueled your flame and you're doing the same thing that we're doing to the birds, is that you're giving them something that's so high in sugar that it turns to sugar so quickly. And unfortunately with corn, it's not quick. It's high in sugar, but it's a very slow process as far as digestion. So it's in their system a long time. It's not like if you give them a blueberry and that pops out in an hour, right? Corn, especially if it's in a raw form, I don't give my birds, unless it's in a feed that they've ground it down to like a fine powder. I don't give my birds whole corn, or dried corn, I would say. I don't give my birds anything that's dehydrated, dried. I either reconstitute it or I to the natural state of liquid as possible. I think a lot of there should be something done as far as how much. You've got to understand that these birds are not used to drinking large amounts of water, right? They get water when they can type situation, but most of the water that they ingest is from the food. And of course, what we're doing is we're giving them everything that's dehydrated, right? There's no liquid, the water content is zero. There's nothing in there that's there. But then we provide them with water. The problem with that is this. One, it's not in their nature to drink large quantities of water. And it's actually not natural for them to drink large quantities. There's a whole difference between eating a food source, for example, cucumbers is a great example because we can relate to that, or watermelon. If there's a difference between eating that and drinking, for example, even for us, you're asking us to drink 16 ounces of water. Well, go ahead, guzzle that down. And what is our options? Our options is to drink tea, coffee, soda, juice, everything but water. And so we're asking them to do the same thing that we're not willing to do ourselves, which is it is unnatural for us to drink large quantities of water, straight water. It's not natural. And our bodies and our livers and our kidneys cannot take care of all that filtration that you're asking it to do. Yes, you need to be hydrated. Yes, you need to drink water when you're dehydrated. Drink water when to substitute the food, the water intake that you're getting from your food. But you cannot. It's not healthy and for your organs. Everybody's so amazed about how, because of the disorders I have, why my organs are so good. And the reason why is because I eat the way I'm supposed to eat humanely. And I expect my animals to do the same. And I brought this up to a nutritionist, and he was also taken aback by the question. And I'm going to address it to him again because he is a nutritionist of animals. So you can go to him and he'll say, "This is what I want my birds to look like." Like if I asked him to do a nutritional plan for myself, it would be based on the behaviors of my birds, their plumage, their organs, health. But obviously starting from the inside out, I would want him to design me a plan for the health of my birds, as far as longevity and as far as their behavior. I don't want my birds beefed up. They don't need to be on steroids. They're not doing no lifting of weights or any, they're not going to be consumed as a food source. I am interested in a genetic point of having the nutrition of them because I do plan to sell their eggs. Because I think they're beautiful animals that I have. I think they're well behaved. I think personally, and I think I have shown this. It's yes, it's modeling behavior, but it's also the DNA when birds are being, especially if you have first, second, third generations like it should be in a covey. No covey is built on newborns, right? You're just throwing a bunch of newborns out there and saying, okay, I want you to be friends now, and you have nobody to nurture you, and you have no caregivers, and you have the only person that comes in is this predator who intends to eat you or consume you. And so, how do you know that? These are dumb animals, you say. No, they're not. First of all, let's debunk the fact that they can smell, because I've debunked that. There is no way. They know, like when the resident wants to do cooking, which most of the time is in the spring, um, she'll make a whole bunch of homemade stuff, and we get leftovers and all that stuff. It's just really cool. But anyway, the birds will get something, and they know their special that certain things that she's making by the sounds that she's making them. Yes, but also by the smell, because they don't get really excited until that smell hits you, right? You know what I'm saying? When you're making homemade pizza, you know what I'm talking about. When that smell hits you, it's like your whole body goes into this like rush of like anticipation of, oh my god, that's gonna be good. You know what I'm saying? And so the birds do the same thing. They start ruffling their feathers. They start getting excited. They start coming over to the corner of the bed and looking at the door because they know that that's what's going on, and they know it's cooking, right? So their behaviors is no different than basic behaviors as a canine or mine as a human or humanoid. There's no difference between our behaviors. I'm anticipating the pizza, even though I'm allergic to it and I'm not supposed to have it. Like 90% of the stuff that's in there I can't have. Well, actually, probably 100% if you really break it down. I'm not supposed to have the yeast, and pizza, of course, has a high yeast content. And then I'm not supposed to have the tomatoes, which obviously is the base of the bread of the pizza. And then I'm lactose intolerant. Now, I have learned recently, because my doctors have never, none of my dietitians, they basically just say, don't eat it, right? That's their answer to everything. It's not, let's explain this and let's explain that, so that in certain circumstances you can have this and that and this and that. No, they don't go into any of those details. They just basically say, don't eat it, right? So I'm lactose intolerant. I'm not supposed to have dairy. Even on the lactose medicine, I have a reaction to it. So it's not like I can just like willy-nilly just go out there and eat dairy. I can't. I've tried that. I've had it's no good to my organs. It puts a lot of pressure on my organs. Everything gets inflamed. All my organs get like overworked, and it's not good. And so it's just not. It's just basically I'm just poisoning myself. Am I saying that milk is poison? No. I'm saying I'm allergic to it. For me, it'd be no different than somebody else who's allergic to crab going out there and having going on a crab fest. You can't do it, right? So, anywho, I've learned that but then this other dude on the nutrition on the internet, once again, it's the internet, right? But I did look up the study, and he is correct that when you change the concept of the protein that I'm actually reacting to in the milk. So by making cheese, for example, the whole process of how you make cheese, you're cooking it, and in that cooking process, it actually breaks down that protein that I'm allergic to, which is why I don't react as strongly to pizza. Do I still react to it? Yeah, because of the yeast and the tomatoes, but it's not because of the cheese. So I can literally just strip the cheese off and eat it. When I was a kid, it was obviously the opposite. They knew I was lactose intolerant, so the doctor just forbid dairy. Like I didn't, all of a sudden, I didn't have dairy in my life. And I already had limitations because of the other dietary restrictions because I have my rheumatoid arthritis. You have to be on a certain diet. Well, you should. And unfortunately, my parents were not, my mom didn't even make it through grade school. And I'm not saying that in a negative way. She literally did not make it through grade school. She was married by the time she was 12 years old. High rolling on the streets and traveling at that age with her new husband. So it's just, well, she got married at, I think she met him at 12, got married at 13, and was high rolling and such until 14. And so until she woke up in a strange man's house on a couch. Apparently, this is my understanding, and ironically, this happened to my sister too, but in her own house. Apparently, she had a party situation. I'm gonna say it in the nicest way, and not a nice party. And basically took something or got somebody gave something to her, and then they all daddled when she went unconscious, and they just left her like that. And then of course her kids woke up the next day, and it was not a good situation. But my mom's situation, she was married, and what happened apparently from what she deducted, because the guy that she was on the couch, they eventually took her to the hospital when she woke up. I don't know what he was thinking, because you get all these kids basically come rolling in after a car accident, carrying my mom. They come into his house, knock on his door. They come into his house, dump her on the couch, and then walk out the door and left. He has no clue who this person is. He has no clue her name is. He has no clue anything about her, and she's unconscious. And so apparently in the ride, because she probably was in the front seat, she had gotten a concussion and went unconscious, and they just basically dumped her. And so he eventually, when she woke up, they took her to the hospital. And like I said, she had gotten a concussion and stuff. My grandmother got contacted at that point, and then they shipped her back to my grandmother. She was 14 years old. That was her first experience of married life. Her second was my father, who was very narcissistic. I would say very narcissistic, and I would say I didn't diagnose him, but he's definitely bipolar, and he probably had autism as well. Probably where my daughter gets it from, although it's on my husband's side of the family as well. So. But my son has it, as well as my daughter. My son has a different spectrum of it. He was diagnosed with it, but unfortunately, his father refused and literally threatened the assessor that if she didn't change her assessment, and of course he was banned from that office ever again, from everywhere. He was banned from a lot of places because of his behavior. And unfortunately, he was one of those people that, like I said, he's very narcissistic, so he would study. He's not a very educated person. He didn't ever show up for school type situation. He could handle being in a confined place with people. And he went to the army. They didn't have a choice. You either go to the army or you go to jail. That was kind of back in the 70s. That's kind of the choices were. That was their choices. Are you guys done with that crap? Why are you screaming like that? Kathy, are you bothering those boys? No. Are you bothering those boys? He's hungry. I need to scoop up that. Yep. Like, Mom, you need to scoop that up. You're all done. I know there's something in it. That's why I need to put some food in it. You want some food, sir? Can you go get that bowl for Mama? You're gonna wake up tomorrow. I know. Do you hear me making all that noise? I'm trying to get some food for them, and they're making all this noise. Guys, I need to go. There's no food in this one. That's why you want it. Just a minute. You want this food? Come here. Oh my goodness, you're not getting it. All right, here you go. I still need that bowl. And you need to be quiet. Luna's out with Sass, but Sass won't let him out of the house. If you don't stop, you're going last. Stop it. You're being noisy for no reason. I'm getting their water right now. I just had to make sure everybody was watered. The babies just got their water again. And I have to start on the babies. Love. Let me get the water for the big boys. You ready for some water? The ones in the kennel, you have to wait until Sass is done drinking, and since he's done, he will go up, and then I will let Moo and Honey go out. Honey will get a good drink, and then we'll be good boys, and then Mata will come out and get a drink. All right? All right. So you need to stop fussing. Sass, you don't want a drink? He's like, I'm trying to eat this food. All right, you don't want a drink? I'll open your door. Who's behind me? Isha? Why are you behind me? Let me tell you about being behind Mama. That's not a good idea. It's down Alright, Sass is gonna go up regardless if he wants to or not. Not your turn. He's gonna chase them up. What? You're not going in there. Oh, you want the mop? Oh. Well, the mop is not exactly clean, my love, but I will. No, it's not. It's not clean. It's not. You're gonna have to use something else to wash your paws off. Use the toilet paper. That's why I have toilet paper. Sometimes you'll see it all over the bed. There's nothing on. Well, sometimes there is something on it. They'll go potty on it. Lizzie, a little bit's really good about potty training herself, so she'll go right on the toilet paper. But other than that, what they use it mostly for is to wash their feet. Because they have found that Mama doesn't like them really washing their feet on the pee pad. She's trying to keep it as clean as possible. The idea is, since we have an accident, you have to go. We have a protection. But really, Mama wants you to do is poo on the poo pad, which they're doing. It's been a slow process because it is a bit different concept for them, being as they were raised this way. So now that I have to blow my nose, sorry about that. Alright, usually I put the headphones on because I can't handle myself. I can't handle myself listening to my own words. But I'm going to start putting it. Oh, there's the other bowl. I knew there was one. So I'm going to put the quill in there. But Moo and Honey Boo are demanding their food right now. They're starving, they say. I'm starving. I don't know how you're starving when there's food left in the bowl. Your door is open. Why are you still screaming? See, Honey won't tell Moo that the door is open. But he just sits there and screams. Go out. Go out. Go out the door. Stop sitting there screaming like that. That's ridiculous. Yeah, you better go upstairs. Go all the way up. You're gonna eat that food all gone? Alright, hurry up. So, listen. That's a good share. There's more coming. That's leftovers. Not to be quiet, please. Alright. Anyway, let me get food started. I can get them to start. It needs to cook anyway, so. Because they're starving marmots. But the boys have leftovers. So figure and then there's leftovers last night. The big girls and we ate it. So I'm not feeding the big girls right now. The big girls and the nursery. That's one feed. Gravel. I put a little bit of the, it's funny because the nutrition's like, stop using the growing feed for the adults. Well, I don't really use it for the adults. I kind of just, I'm getting your food, though, just a second. I kind of use it just like a, if I need a little bit more or something. I just kind of give them a little bit of it. And I think the reason why, that I do it anyway, I don't know about anybody else, the reason why I do it is because I never had any issues with on this particular growing food. It's excellent. I've never had any issues with any bird. But the minute I started my regular feed, and that's where I start this, I'm not happy with any of the feed that's available to me. Everybody keeps saying go to Kavach, and I go in there, and I don't know, there's just something about it that's not making me feel any better. Same thing about dog food, all animal feed at this point. I don't like it that they don't disclose what they're giving you, what's in the bag, and they're saying, well, it's impossible because we kind of rotate this, and this. And I'm like, well, if that's what you're doing, that's fine, but you should be at least telling us that it should, They're like, oh no, it's too complicated. No, just I don't know how the government's allowing them to do that. That's never been allowed I've never heard of it. Or they can just sit there and say, trust us, it's this. So they're not telling us what it is. I'm pretty positive everybody's getting the same food source from the same food source. But, because believe me, I know, I'm close up and personal with the food. I can tell by just smelling it and looking at the texture what's kind of in it. It's a lot of fillers. Sawdust or something like that. I don't know what it is, but there's nothing to digest. It's just roughage. It's just filling them up and making them feel like they're not hungry when they're not nutritionally not getting what they need. And most of the nutritional value is basically additive. And I don't think that's safe either. I don't think that's safe for people either, but because by the time they're done processing the so-called additive vitamin or whatever, they just basically made it almost nutritionally unsound. So I think personally it should be done. I would encourage people to have a good feed, whatever that is for you. It depends on each person because like I'm not raising my birds to be Hulk Hogan, Porky Pig or whatever. They're basically I want them healthy. I want them